Following a stellar second quarter financial performance, Serba Dinamik Holdings Berhad Group Chief Dato' Muhammad Abdul Karim Abdullah talks about the firm's plans in the renewable energy sector, digitalization of its plants, and the progression of its projects in Pengerang. Serba Dinamik has gone pretty big on green energy after buying 3 renewable energy companies in Perak. Is focusing on this segment your goal moving forward?
Traditionally, Serba Dinamik is a company that provides a lot of engineering support to the oil and gas industry. But as time goes by, we realize that power generation industry is also very important to us. So out of the power generation space, we choose hydropower as one of the good options for the company to pursue and also moving forward. And why we choose a hydro power plant rather than other power solutions is also the belief of the company that we need to give the necessary support to the renewable space or the technology. And this is very important to the environment because hydropower plant has a very low emission of carbon to the atmosphere.
Speaking of hydropower plants, you're building 30 megawatts hydropower in Sabah, 60 megawatts in Perak. Tell us about your other projects.
We have another so-called 40 coming up in Laos. Though the actual agreement that we have signed up is only 30, but there is another 10 megawatt which we are discussing and negotiating. So in total, we have 130 megawatt. We are still optimistic that we should be able to close up this 200 megawatt.
Now, renewable energy sector is actually quite an expensive business to go into. How much have you spent in total for this 130 megawatts project?
Expensive, yes, you are right to mention. But if you look from the technology aspect, number one, we fulfill a corporate responsibility in reducing the emissions of carbon to the world. Even though the cost might be higher, but the tariff will also be higher, so it will basically comes back to a more or less profitability back to whoever invested into this technology.
Now, basically, the idea is to create a cleaner environment in this country. The country also say that they want to achieve 20% of renewable energy by 2025. Do you think that it's achievable, or do you think it's a little bit too ambitious?
Yes, it is very ambitious. Because if you look from the historical record, for the past 8 years, we can only achieve approximately around 5% of the energy distribution under the renewable kind of option. But I will say that nothing is not possible as long as all the parties which are enclosed inside this change of involvement of this renewable energy play their role.
You have a target of 7.5 billion order book to achieve by the end of the year. How much have you achieved at the moment?
Approximately, we have achieved 6.9 billion ringgit Malaysia. Based on the assessment of our business development, discussion, negotiation, bids, participations and so on, we strongly believe that we should be able to achieve that goals and targets that we have set for our management team to achieve.
About 20% increase in your profit after tax. Your operations and maintenance O&M division, it's remain very strong, about 86% in 2017. What's your target for the rest of the year?
Heading towards the end of the year, especially the fourth quarter of the year, a lot of countries that we are operating will have higher sales and revenue. Number one, for example, like the Middle East region is entering into the cold season. So a lot of them will like this kind of weather to carry out the necessary maintenance, turnaround jobs and so on. And in Europe or in other countries is entering into a cold situation, winter is coming. They will need more energy utilizations of gas and so on. So again, it opens up some openings in terms of the maintenance because equipment will be also running more aggressively.
So Serba Dinamik has some activities down south in Pengerang as well. You have about 62 acres of land to be developed, comprising of PIP and also a commercial centre, mainly to cater to rapid. So how's the progression over there?
It's progressing well. There are some slight so-called a delay because of the change of the government. Is something that which we cannot avoid. But whatever is it, we have met up with the government of the day of the state, very supportive, very proactive, and we have gotten all the necessary approval and licenses for us to start the projects as of today.
So out of all the players that you're working with in Pengerang, Hill International is one of them. Tell us about the projects in the pipeline.
We have received a lot of comments and advice saying that we are not a property developer. So yes, we take that comments positively. So Hill International coming in to fill that gap. They have the credible track records and capability in that area, which is talking about the Pengerang International Commercial Center. Serba Dinamik will be focused onto the industrial area.
You signed a very interesting MOU with Microsoft.
Yep.
You're trying to develop some digital platform with this company, and especially just now you mentioned about Microsoft HoloLens as well, right? So probably you can give us a little bit more details about the development in this particular one, PT Serba Dinamik Indonesia plant.
We want to use that particular plant, it's a compressed natural gas plant, as a proof of concept of this digital platform which incorporates in this maintenance management system and plant turnaround system. And the investment that we are looking at is we are putting in a 2 million ringgit Malaysia to come up with this proof of concept, or in another word, this initial investment to roll out this particular system to the market.